bit on an angle. But that's alright. It's your thing. I feel when you ask me questions on the spot,
Tell us about your like circus stuff. Yeah, like how'd you get into that?
Okay, so the circus started in 1991, which is the year I was born. And my mum was one of the founding members. It's actually started as an alternative to sport at our primary school in Upper Maynham. And yeah, so I began like when I could walk. I think I was performing from when I was 5, mostly doing trapeze. Had a little like my solo trapeze act.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just carried on. It was actually quite amazing in the 90s. It was really trippy, the hip trippy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some good.
Trippy? Like
A little bit trippy.
what do you mean?
So we had a show called Marine Mayhem. That was one of the earlier ones that I remember. And you know, us kids, we dressed up in like this lilac big like octopus outfit with like the legs coming off with like hot pink spots all over it, and just trippy little costumes, lots of holographic metallic and like feather trim. We had a show called Totally Batty.
Yeah.
We had these like big PVC wings on and like our faces painted and it's trippy like that, like weird Northern Rivers vibes.
Yeah.
It sort of got a bit less trippy as time went on. It was great. We'd go with all this yeehaw. It reminds me of, we'd like go on these funny little tours up and down the East Coast and go and perform at like the rodeo in the casino.
Sick.
Like just little random places. It was good. It was really good.
Yeah,
Sort of grew up doing that actually. I stopped when I was about 20. We went on a European tour and I was a bit like, bye, catcha. I'm gonna go backpacking in the Pyrenees and but yeah, we had the National Circus Festival was always run like in Tasmania or in our hometown Mullumbimby every 2 years. It's like a big gathering. It's quite amazing, and there would be like the fringe festivals in Adelaide that we'd go to. Pretty hardcore if I think back. We'd do like 3 shows a day for 3 weeks as kids. We'd take that time off school and
that's pretty gnarly.
Pretty gnarly.
3 shows a day, 3 weeks straight.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
I know.
That's a huge amount of work.
Yeah.
Were you paid for this?
No.
You was paid in applause.
Yeah, I guess. But it changed a lot of people's lives, you know.
Yeah.
Like it gave them, like a lot of people have carried it on, you know. They're paid performers now, definitely.
Good.
But it gave us like, you know, a family outside of our family.
Yeah.
And it's quite a tight-knit community in Australia. Like, we all just gathered recently in Mullumbimby for the Circus Festival. And it's like family. We've known each other for decades. And, you know, I guess similar to like rock climbing or like outdoor activities where you literally have each other's life in your hands. You're like helping each other through fears and, traveling together, living together, watching each other grow up.
Was it dramatic?
Was it dramatic?
Yeah.
In what way?
Like, was there like heaps of drama, like egos, or like, was everyone pretty low key?
You know, I think for the most part, a lot of circus performers actually are really humble people. But there's the ego that needs to be there in the show.
Always, yeah.
But as soon as the curtains close, everyone's really, for the most part, really gentle and sweet and caring.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of them, sure. Some of them. And you know, you make fun, of like certain types of, like certain, I don't know, people will like say certain things about jugglers or say certain things about, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I know what you mean, yeah.
Not that I have anything against jugglers. I actually can't juggle. I think it's an amazing skill. Yeah, not a lot of drama. Not a lot of drama.
Tell us about your Euro trip that you went on.
Euro trip. With circus.
When you turned 21 and you went traveling.
Yeah, we just finished high school, had to wait around because, you know, was in the troupe and had to go and perform.
Yeah.
So, you know, I say it like it's not an exciting thing. It felt a lot more like an obligation. At that point, we had a different artistic director that I wasn't so into the show and the characters I was having to play and stuff like that. So it was a bit like, but it was amazing. We went to the UK. We went to this beautiful little island, Sylt, off the coast of Germany. Cool. That was like, had this very beautiful, you know, circus big top, quite a traditional circus there performing.
Yeah.
I always really loved that. Like, because we're in a contemporary circus, I guess, you know, and so I always really romanticized traditional circus where families would travel around in the caravan.
Yeah.
So we got to perform with some of them and meet them and see how they work and live. Went to Rotterdam. Where else did we go? There's probably a few other places. Yeah, it was alright. It's weird, you know, as a teenager and you're sort of trying to assume your independence and you didn't so much have it. You don't really have your autonomy when you're in the troupe. Yeah. Sort of at the whim of your director. Who at that point in time was sort of more like a dancer, not really circus.
Yeah.
Theatre dancer. I know, sorry, I know I should just give you this big romantic story, but it's...
No, I love it, thank you.
The early days were very romantic. It was very like... Yeah, we performed in weird places, like this old whaling... Well, Byron used to be a whaling town. And so there was this... What they call it? It's like this little art centre, like right on the beach.
Yeah.
And we like painted the floor like this big spiral. So we did Marine Mayhem. You look back at just some of the pictures from that time. I've got some on my phone I can show you later. Things are just a bit more lawless, you know.
Yeah.
People were pretty probo in the 90s.
Yeah.
A little bit like, everything's very politically correct now, which I think is important. But in the 90s it was all, like we did shows that I think is maybe quite questionable, like Now and Zen, like this Japanese inspired. You can't do that stuff now. Like we were like geishas and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. Yeah.
And I think I asked you before, but how did you end up back in the mountains up here?
Up here.
Away from the city.
Oh, I had to get away from the city. I call it Mordor, Sydney. Feels like that a little bit.
Why do you call it Mordor?
It's like,
is it that bad?
I guess it's not that bad. But for somebody, for somebody who grew up in the country, you know, I guess that's my baseline frequency that I'm comfortable in. You know, like I prefer these sounds. And just the smell of the air even. And different country people. They're just nice. Yeah. And I guess the ethics that I want to live by are more common here. Being kind to people, being patient, being caring. I think what brought me up here was actually the rock climbing community. Yeah. Yeah. Like I just, knew people who would frequent this place for climbing, and as soon as I came up and I got my van and sort of camped up here a bit and went on some hikes, I was captivated.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. Like the view we just saw now, the top of the waterfall.
Incredible way.
Yeah. Watching the sunset at this place. So beautiful.
You and Elle will relate about seeing Sydney like Mordor.
Yeah, okay.
And I think she will just she'll move up here in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Any way she can, she'll just move in her car if she has to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this place. But I don't live here. But I would. Eventually. It does get cold though.
It does get
I'm
very
from,
cold.
The
Cold and wet.
northern rivers is beautiful and subtropical.
Yeah.
Warm even in the winter.
What was it like growing up there?
Yeah, it was like that. It was lawless in the 90s. Just so free.
Yeah.
So free and expressive.
Yeah.
You'd have the Chincogan Fiesta in the main
cool.
street of Mullum and just cool, crazy stuff. And conscious people who seem to care.
Yeah.
Both my parents were quite outgoing, doing different types of theatre. My mum was heavily involved in the circus.
Yeah.
My dad's a blacksmith and a builder and organic farmer.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, so there's a lot of that sort of stuff going on. And
yeah.
I tried to move back there a few times as an adult, but I found it a bit small. As a place for someone like me, I think, growing up in the circus and traveling, just gives you a different spectrum of the world that you need to engage.
Yeah, definitely.
My mind's a bit too big to be there. But it's a beautiful place, very unique. Beautiful country, have you been there? They say the rainforest meets the sea there. It's like that. Lots of water. It flooded a lot when I was growing up. And we'd take the boogie boards out. Skim around. There's lots more wildlife than there is now. When I go visit, even the waterways have really reduced.
Why do you think that is?
I think a lot of farmers are actually stealing water and have underground tanks.
Yeah.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist in any way, but I hear people talking about that, and maybe also just global warming and people, farming so much. The colonial farming has changed the landscape so much that water isn't really, topsoils aren't holding water. There's a lot of cattle up there.
Yeah. And
sugarcane farming. We used to have lots of freshwater turtles, heaps of frogs.
Yeah?
Yep. Heaps of tawny frog mouths. And lots of snakes and spiders. Yeah. It's a good spot. I feel blessed. My mum ended up just moving there. She grew up in Bathurst, actually, of all places, and she never really felt at home there. She's a tropical woman, so I think she's 17 and she hitchhiked all the way up to Cairns.
What?
And she hitchhiked past Mullumbimby and she said, that is such a cool name of a place. I want to live there one day.
Yeah.
And so when she was in Cairns, she met a home birth doctor. And he was like, will you come down to Mullumbimby and take care of my kids? And she was like, oh, that place, yes.
Yeah.
I need to go there. So that's where she met my dad. But I wasn't really planned as a kid, actually. I was my mum was 5 months pregnant when she found out about me. She was more than halfway along. She kept trying to hold in her belly and do yoga and she finally went to the doctor.
Yeah.
And then she was like, no, just relaxed. It's cool.
I'm being healthy, I swear. Gaining weight.
Yeah. I guess it would be weird, she's breastfeeding my elder sister, 2 years older than me, and I can't imagine, you probably would be not knowing what's going on with your body, maybe you could miss that. But yeah. What else do you want to know?
You said you mentioned the morals that you want to live by. Can you touch on that?
I think just community. We live in such an individualist society where everyone's sort of out for themselves. And even what sort of was mentioned before, I think the girls were talking about that. I don't know where you were, but just like people have kids but partly like someone to look after them when they're older.
Yeah.
But actually statistics show that that's not the case.
Yeah.
I think more like that, like people caring for each other and even families being more community based.
Yeah.
I think that's what circus showed me, was like you need big variety of people, all the different demographics, different generations, I think, to grow healthy kids.
Yeah.
You need a lot of influence. Yeah, just that, like even what it's been like today, you know, everyone's caring for each other and supportive and welcoming. Yeah, like that. And being creatively expressive, I think, is something I always want to see more of.
Yeah. Do you do art or anything like that?
I do.
What art are you doing?
I did a fine arts degree, like in drawing.
Yeah.
Which feels like a really weird thing to study. But it's like my happy place, drawing. Whenever we travel with circus, I'd always have a little book and pencil. Love observational drawing. But also love just like free drawing. Yeah, and painting, sculpture.
Yeah.
Costume making. I guess that's an art form.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
You're creating.
Yeah.
You have a vision, right?
Have
Bring
a vision.
it to life.
Yeah. It's a little bit like engineering, pattern making. Engineering for the body.
Yeah.
You know, you create something 2D, make it 3D. Yeah, and what else?
How'd you get into pattern making? Like your clothes designing and stuff?
I think it actually started from circus. When I was a kid and when I was quite small and performing, our coach and the director of the circus, the creator, she was also the costume maker.
Yeah.
She was amazing. And I remember her like bringing me to her little sewing studio and she'd be like, what do you want?
Yeah.
Willow? And I'd be like, oh my god, purple and like one shoulder, and I want like, you know, silver sequins here, and I want like this little headband or whatever. And she'd create it. And I think it was planted a seed for me of like this magical experience of like dreaming up something in the mind.
Yeah.
And then creating it with your hands. And also I think, you know, we train so much and then there'd be dress rehearsal and it would be like this whole different experience. You put on the costume and your whole energy would change. Like, so I think all of that ended up pushing me towards it. But I studied fashion design for a long time before I moved into costume. So dry. And so like immoral in so many ways.
Why is that?
Or just even standard sizing, like even it's not inclusive.
Yeah.
It's not realistic.
Yeah.
And it's slavery for a lot of people, a lot of fashion slavery. So I finally, you know, came more into myself and started doing costume design and yeah, loved it. I have Virgo rising, so I'm like order and like, because it's really to the millimeter. Got to be really precise.
Yeah.
So it sort of was like my creative brain, my like OCD brain, like they all got to like have a party together and do something. But I've sort of been doing it for about like 7 years, so I'm shifting out of it because it's quite materials heavy. You've got to have a lot of stuff. You've got to have the space. So my next move is to get into tattooing.
Yeah.
It seems quite chill in comparison.
Yeah. Well, because you've already done your drawing, right? Like, it's such an easy sort of progression.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to come back to that. I don't know, I was talking to someone a little while ago about, like, because I'm also an artist technician, like I help other artists create their works.
Yeah.
And I've never really thought of myself as an artist or even progressed that career, even though a lot of my friends and family will see me as an artist. I sort of was trying to step more into that. And focus back on drawing and not being so shy.
Yeah.
Just sharing what I make.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Is there going to be a place to see all this art and like costumes and tattoos and
See,
stuff?
that's the thing. I don't know if I share things and then I like delete them.
Yeah.
It's like I felt cute, might delete. I could do that a lot. And now all I share is just pictures of nature. But I think that comes from, I'm quite anti-speciesist, you know, I'm not really like humans are above animals, or humans are above nature, and I get a bit like, actually found love for humans more recently, because I was getting really like, they're like the thorn in my side, but yes, I'm going to learn to share. I'm going to learn to share what I do and value it. Like, because I see other people, you know, they have just maybe like a crayon drawing or just like a pencil drawing, and like somewhere in my mind it's like that's beautiful, but if I do that I'm like, this isn't real art or something, you know?
Yeah, no,
Isn't it weird? So I'm trying to just unlearn a few things.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I'm sure a lot of artists are very, very self-critical
Yeah.
about their work,
Yes.
which maybe is a good reason why you share.
Yeah.
If you share, because other people looking at it, maybe who can't draw, will look at it and be like, wow, that's like, I never achieved that, that's incredible, the art here is beautiful. And I bet that people that can draw like you or better than you will see the talent that you have and appreciate it. So I'm thinking, like, people that can't draw, people that can draw, they'll all love what you're doing.
Thanks. Yeah. No, I love to sit down and draw with people, especially kids. They're so, they get into it.
Yeah.
Whereas adults are often like, oh, I can't draw. Or they're like, draw, and then they just crumple it up and like chuck it in.
Yeah.
The criticism comes in. So, yeah, I draw a lot with my nieces and nephews and other of the circus kids I hang out with, and it brings me back to just like what it's all about, which is freedom, right? And just like being in the moment. And yeah, it's almost like digesting the world around you, the things you can see, the things you can't see, and the mysteries of the world, and sort of like, it's like creating a little language. The cosmos, see, it's talking to us.
So get out of here.
Get out of here.
Oh, thanks for sharing, dude.
Thanks for being interested.
Of course. Man, I'm hell into it.
Yeah, it does. It brings us back to the moment, I think. When we take photos, and memories are so ephemeral.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know no one cares about my nature pictures or my rock obsession.
Like we were
I
saying,
just want selfies.
we would.
You guys would, I know. This is why I've shifted my friendships group a little bit.
Yeah. What was the old friendship group like?
I love them, don't get me wrong. Just very people heavy, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like big egos.
Yeah.
Which I guess is like how people survive too. They're very inspiring people and still beautiful people outside of that. But I don't know, maybe I just had my time of like wearing cool clothes and knowing cool people and like going to the parties and like, and now I just want to like, I don't know, hike and swim and just be maybe around people for different reasons.
Yeah.
Or like more mixed variety of people. I don't want to hang out with like in the popular group anymore. You know what I mean? I remember being like in high school, like it was so weird, all the different groups. And I remember always wanting to be in like the cool nerdy girl group. That just like,
that was a thing.
The cool nerd girl
Okay, well
group.
they weren't the cool.
They weren't
cool,
the
but they
two
were
things
like,
always didn't go together.
Yeah, they were like not even so much nerds, but just people who were like just had different pressures on them, you know, and gave energy to different things, and maybe weren't going out and partying so much, but were like studying and focusing on their skills. And I think it just, don't want to sort of get caught up with coolness. I think it's quite shallow. And maybe that's sort of why I moved out of costuming too, because it's like you'll like spend weeks on this piece for someone who wears it for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you're like, what's the point? Or like you're running around like to style an ad, and you're spending, you know, like 7 hours to find this perfect pair of brown gloves that's going to be seen for like a millisecond.
Yeah.
And just like all the pointless money that's wasted going into like the way things look, as opposed to the way things really are, and just selling people things they don't need, or just like, I don't know, just everything being so image based. I think it really wore upon me, and it's not really what I wanted to keep focusing on, because I'm quite image based anyway. Like as a Libra, like I don't know, I feel like I always was known for having quite good style.
Indeed. For the first time on New Year's Eve.
Oh, go cute.
Just became so like even more happy and even more social.
Yeah.
So it was like I was on a podcast. I just kept talking.
Yeah.
It's good. It unlocks the repression that we sort of we start to become like quite habitual with. All the social etiquette maybe goes out the window, which is nice. You know?
I love you, man.
I love you, man, so much.
Like, and I literally love them. Like, and it doesn't go away. It stays with me forever.
Avoiding Europe.
Oh no, where are you going? America,
Well,
then Mexico.
A little bit. Yeah, going to Yosemite. It's all up in the air, really. But yeah, gonna go to Mexico. Gonna go to Costa Rica. Gonna go to Peru. Gonna do some amazing hikes in this beautiful world that we live on. Quite obsessed with volcanoes and crater lakes. Got a friend around Bellingham. So gonna go up there to that amazing national park in Washington. Gonna go to Iceland, rent a little 4-wheel drive diesel car, skirt,
And a little pony.
and ride a pony. Go to all the like steamy mud pools and that weird trippy, see all the weird trippy lichen and all that otherworldly volcanic landscape. And then gonna go to India and Nepal. Oh, they're back. They made it.
Right.
Nice
Hey.
to do.
Well done.
I feel like that was the key bit.
Oh my gosh, the handline, how good.
What happened?
Sarah, you want to tell a story?
Hopefully they
I
were
left
down
my
there.
shorts in the canyon and there were like a couple of Ks up. So we've just had a little mish, we got the shorts, and now we're hungry. Yeah, we're really hungry. Who has food? Doing that hill again, we were like, oh!
So wait, but were your shorts where we had lunch?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
We were there. I didn't realise how many trees we climbed over to get out. Yeah, dude, it was a mission. Yeah. It was good though. We only had to do one swim, so that was fun. Yeah. It was hot. It was hot. We were like, oh, we should have just gone without wetsuits. Honestly. Here we are. Thanks to the Sour Patch.
You're right, dude.
Thanks.